Well, I hope you're not sick of this outfit and makeup look because, you know, this is about the third video you've seen it in. But nonetheless, let's get started with the video. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So we are here again. It is time for another palette ranking the palettes that I just tried. And I don't know if it's going to be really a ranking, but it's just, let's talk about what I've bought lately. And this is not even really lately because I feel like the stuff I don't know. You know, Black Friday is on the way, all of that stuff. So this is the stuff that I've tried lately. You've seen videos on it. I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling about it. A couple of the palettes, haven't even had a chance to touch them a whole lot, but we're going to talk about it because you know how it goes. Like everything moves so fast in the makeup community, and with Black Friday releases about to roll out, you know these things are going to be lost in the sauce. But let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you're older but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashley. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash and her makeup, but please just call me Ash or Ashley, and you already know. Eyeshadow, it's my jam. It is my jam. So let me tell you, I got about 6 palettes here. One of them I just did a video on. So like I've had a chance to play with it, but I really haven't had a chance to play with it. But we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to have one palette that is a standout palette to me that I have tried recently. So let's just go ahead and dive on in. So up first we have the two 5 pans, or the little quints that I picked up from McGrath Labs. Now I do like these very much, and I actually did have a chance to play with these. I took these out of town with me. I said, these are small, these are compact for what I'm doing. I'm going to my friend's birthday party, so it's going to be more of an evening affair when I get to wear these. And it did have like a couple of shades in here that I could transition through the daytime if I decided to put on makeup, but I didn't. I only put on makeup to go to her party. And these were perfect for travel. So I picked up 2, which were the most interesting to me, which was the Lunar Nightshade palette, because of course, like we've been looking for color schemes like this from McGrath, you know, like purples, plums. Well, she has a lot of plums, but you know, maybe plum and teal together. And I'll talk about that in a moment. And then I also picked up Bordeaux Bliss. So here we have Bordeaux Bliss, and you know, things like this we are very much used to when it comes to Mama Pat, Auntie Pat. I love you, but why? Why so much pink all the time? Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about these little babies. So they were about $36 a piece. I picked them up actually when they launched. I did not wait for a sale. Plus, I want to say I got about 20% off. So it made it around, with the bundle and the extra percentage off, it made it around $50. So I really wasn't mad on it. I felt like it was worth it. I created some videos. I created some very pretty looks when I did the video. I did 1 look each. And of course, you have great McGrath quality. Now, I do feel like the formula was a little bit different in both of these 5 pan palettes. I did feel like you did get good longevity. However, which was visibly noticed for me is that, you know, the shade in the middle is obviously a lot softer than I was used to. And then these 2 shades right here. I feel like, you know, this is teal, but I felt like it very much leaned really silver. I really wanted it to be a little bit more teal than what it was giving, but I don't feel like it was a bad palette. The matte obviously performed very well. You were able to get great pigmentation. And you get some quality shadows. Do I feel like it's the best McGrath quality here in this quint? No, I don't. But I don't feel like this is bad quality at all. Overall, the look was really beautiful. It had lasted for a very long time. I don't even have a picture of it because, well, I have pictures from that night, but the light at the restaurant that we were in, it doesn't do my makeup any type of justice, so you wouldn't even be able to see what's going on. And actually, when I wore it, I actually mixed both of these palettes together. So visibly what you have in this particular palette, which I feel like, you know, you could kind of work this a little bit better in the daytime minus this Ruby Noir shade. Or you could, whatever you're doing, depending on what you're doing, you know, whatever. Makeup has no rules. So this shade obviously has the glitter reflex in it, or a sequin matte as they sometimes call it. So this one has good pigmentation, but you know, you did have to build it up a little bit more, so it made it nice with kind of mixing and matching between the two. The Ruby Noir was actually a really nice inner corner shade. So the things I do appreciate about the formula, even though it has a lot of glitter particles, you did not see the glitter particles all over your face. You weren't trying to clean up your makeup after you'd done your makeup or your eye look per se. And like I said overall the color stories are beautiful. I think they're cute. I feel like it was the best part of the holiday collection. I actually went into the store the last day of the VIB sale, and I was able to see one of the bigger palettes that had those face products in it. And I looked at it, and I don't even remember. It was the one that had the greens, and I was like, ain't nothing about this interesting. You know, I feel like holiday used to be a little bit more innovative, a little bit more creative, more fun, more opulent by Pat McGrath, and I feel like the last couple years it really hasn't been. Although I love the Mega, because I love those mattes in the Mega. You know, the shimmers in the Mega might not be the best, but that Mega from last year with the Nirvana, with those colorful mattes, I do love those. So these, like I said, they were a good steal, but were they like, oh my gosh, I have to have them? Absolutely not, you know? So this is a palette that I really do love. This is the Rich Romantic palette, and I've only had a chance to actually wear it one other time actually, and I did a video on this recently, and you have some beautiful duochromes. I feel like this is like a new version of the ABH Modern Renaissance, and I said that in my video. You have some great multi-chrome shades, and what I do appreciate about this palette versus the last palette that they just put out, which is the Sugar and Spice, is that nothing is kind of duping itself. Nothing is shifting the same color as the other multi-chromes, because when you're in this multi-chrome world, you have to be careful, because you could put this shade next to this shade and now you just have one big old shade, and you're like, I was trying to make it look like two separate shades and didn't quite happen. Kind of what happened with this eye look today. Like I used like a more opaque green, and then I put a white base color on that had a green shift, and I thought it was gonna be a little bit lighter, and it just kind of all went to one color. So then I popped some gold in there. And it worked, and it's beautiful. This is Blend Bunnies, and I do have a tutorial on this on my Blend Bunny ranking video, but yeah. So I do want to mention that I am now recently have become an affiliate after doing this video with Glaminatrix Kosmetics. These palettes I did purchase with my own money, and we have also talked about me being on a PR list, but you know, all thoughts are still my own, but I did want to mention that. So if you wanted to save some money, the code is Dr. Ash, and everything will go right back into this channel, definitely for the content. But let's go back to this palette. You have some really beautiful mattes. They play up nicely. Now, the only matte that I'm like, is that one, because let's face it, it's very pastel, it's very white base, it's giving ash. But the ones on the bottom are really nice. They pick up very well. And even though this is very much giving spring, I feel like when you use certain shades together, like combination, if you lose it, Lover or Charming or Allure or this little row right here, definitely when you put the Seductive multi-chrome on, you can get some very fall-esque looks. I do want to mention that Glaminatrix Kosmetics is a small indie brand outside of Australia, so that's why this is giving spring, because it's their springtime down under. Now, also, I had the Sugar and Spice palette that I just reviewed. I love the packaging. It feels like it's nice and tight. It's complete. The quality is good. It's vegan upcycled leather, which is really nice, and it just makes it look sleek. Now, I feel like also both of these can work well as a companion palettes together, you know, nice little palette mashup. Now this is beautiful. Now what caught me to this palette actually is this part on. I was like, ooh, it's giving. I do love this purple. This purple is really nice. And this, now these three on the Woman of Color, it depends on how you work it. Now, my only gripe with this palette was that too many of the shades, 3 of the shades of the shimmers kind of lean towards each other. And like, it was just kind of that same thing that I was just talking about with the previous palette, even though it wasn't happening in the previous palette. It did happen in this one. So you have here, here, and here, where If you swatch them, very gorgeous. You put them next to each other, it's one gold shade, okay? One gold shade. So you're gonna have to be very careful and strategic on how you place these shades. Obviously, this one is a little bit more translucent. And then you have Fennel, which is actually really gorgeous too, as a nice dual multichrome. And then this one is a more of a textured shimmer shade. But like I said, it's like 3 shades of gold. It's like, what in the Pat McGrath is going on? I'm just playing, but for real, because you know, I see Pat be like, this is pale gold, this is melon gold, and this is yellow gold, and all 3 will be in the palette. You're like, well, how much gold do we need? But I'm going to move on to the Pretty Grunge palette, okay? So we have the Pretty Grunge palette by Huda Beauty. Now, this came out, and I was like, girl, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. Sometimes like I see the vision, but it's not always executed the way we need it to be executed. And sometimes when I reach for, I don't know, when I reach for more mainstream brands that are in Sephora, I just want some good old eyeshadows, a good old color story, something that's readily accessible. Like I don't want no muss, no fuss. And I really do appreciate, because the other side is that sometimes the stuff that you can buy in Sephora versus the indie side is not as... So what I was saying is that, you know, sometimes you just get too far out there. Well, she does. But I appreciate that, because you don't want, just because something is sold in Sephora, you don't want it to be boring. You want to have some spice. You want people to be creative. You want them to come out with innovative things. Anyway, so I was a little skeptical, because the palette last year, I was like, those formulas, the shimmers, they were not for me. I only like one shimmer, and I felt like the palette was too expensive for me to just keep it around. And then I failed to return it. But I'm glad to announce that with this one, I do like it, and I have had a chance to wear it out and about and then come back and do an additional look. And actually both of those looks I wore out and about, because one of them was during the daytime and the other was through the night. And I had good longevity with both of the shadows. I felt like you get a lot of different options. It's cool tone, but it's still warm tone at the same time. You have some beautiful shimmer options. You can go day to night, even though it's going to be a little bit smokier during the day, but it still works. And one of my main concerns about the palette that while I was skeptical, it's like, it does pull deep enough. And I know you can be like, but Ashleigh, I'm like, but sometimes, even though in Power Palette last year, I was like, it's cute, but I didn't feel like it pulled a little deep enough to set up my outer V or to do the transitions. Everything kind of just looked the same, but I feel like on this side, it's a lot better. There are like, it is a cream shade right here, but it's just really nice though, because you can blend it out and it has like a little bit of sheen to it, but it's also great for layering this black or layering another shimmer and just creating looks, or you can use it as eyeliner. So that's good. And we don't have one of those like slippery like shades. It's just, this one is a little bit cream. There's no crazy like glitters. Everything is just like a good texture. This is just a solid, good palette, and I'm happy with it. The color story is beautiful, and I feel like she did her thing with this. I don't know if it's getting enough hype, but I'm really digging it. I think it's going to be kind of like a perfect palette also for the holiday season, because it has the silvers and it has the mauves and also has the blacks, you know, coming up with the parties, New Year's Eve. So I really like it. I like the packaging. It looks cool, you know, with the mirrored things. So I really do like this palette. And then, so the only palette that is officially ranked, which is my favorite palette that I have picked up, which I'm glad it is, because it costs a pretty penny. I want to say this was around 80 something dollars. This is the Ensley Rain Cosmetics palette. This is the Harvest Moon. This is my first time trying Ensley Rain, but they have some very beautiful palettes. And this is just like, whoo. First of all, the color story bomb.com is like a fall lover's dream. And then this is like an eyeshadow lover's dream. If you like beautiful shadows, multi-chromes, everything above, and they shadows look really textured, but they apply very smoothly. They are really gorgeous. You have some really pretty, like these two in the middle. Oh my gosh. Like these holographic shades, gorgeous. They're not quite like the holographic shades that we've seen from Adept Cosmetics or maybe Touch of Glam Beauty, or I have a lot from the Glam Shop Poland, but they have bigger sparkles that are like more opulent, that transcend across the eye, but they're not glitters. They don't have all that crazy fallout either, so you're going to be okay. I do definitely recommend a glitter glue. And oh, I do want to mention, yeah, with all of these, just use a glitter glue for the sake of laying shimmers. It'll take you a long way. And I did use glitter glue with this one too, the Huda Beauty. But definitely multi-chromes, I've just learned, use what's name. So all the shimmer performances have been great. They have stayed on. They've stayed opulent, shiny, and go on with ease. I tend to usually use my finger at this point. And it's so funny how makeup styles change and everything. Like when I first got on camera, I was like, I don't want to use my finger. Like I would use it, but I wasn't like, oh, okay, I'm just going to use my finger. You know, now I'm like, I'm using my finger and I'm going to take like my flat definer brush by Sonia G, which is a little smaller detailer brush, to kind of fix the shape of the shadows, because I just don't have time to play. I want my shadows to be bold. I want them to be shiny, especially if you're paying for these type of multi-chromes. I want them to look how they're supposed to look. I want the best performance out of them as possible, okay? You have beautiful shades. Nothing is really overdone in this palette as far as the shifts. Even the golds are looking different. And oh my gosh, like the shades like Ghost Moon and Harvest Moon. Look at these two shades on the end. These shades are gorgeous. And I will want to mention that this palette is magnetic. Now the matte choices down at the bottom, I felt like the matte choices were genius. They go along with the palette. Nothing kind of run of the mill, like you get real grungy and earthy down here. And even you got the pop of orange, the lighter brown, which is hayride, but it gives you a nice versatile look. I feel like everything, sorry, stuff is ranking. I feel like everything plays well with each other, and this has just been a beautiful palette to use. I feel like this is one of the top palettes that I have tried this year. Really exciting. And you know, you can kind of you can take it with you through all the seasons, even though it's very fall, but I think it will work. So I'm really excited about this. I am definitely going to keep them on my radar. Their palettes are a little bit more expensive, but I feel like for the quality and the amount of product that you're getting, it is worth it. So let me know if you have tried any of these palettes. Let me know down below in the comments. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with another video, which will be soon. And subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my little makeup family. And with all of that being said, you already know what time it is. It's time for the chair dance. Chair dance. Hey, 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 chair dance. Chair dance. Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.